Welcome to the Magic the Blabbering podcast. I'm your host, Nick, with Josh. And today we're going to get into talking about some Costco bundles, Winston Draft, and collecting goals. Hi, Josh.
What's up, Nick? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good, restful weekend. Had a fun time. What about yourself?
Not so restful.
Not so
Yeah,
restful.
we did a Friendsgiving thing on Saturday. I was super tired, and I think this whole weather thing's seasonal. What is it? Seasonal affective disorder or seasonal
Yeah.
depression? Yeah, I think that's got me. So did a lot of editing yesterday on my latest video, my wrap up on MagicCon. So that will be out by the time you're listening to this podcast. So a lot of work into that. And but you did some yoga on Friday, right?
Yes, I did. I had an event with a friend of mine. We do for my personal training business. We did a promotional event where I was there and my friend's Reiki hypnotherapy um, community was there, and we spoke on. And it's the full moon this weekend. On Friday, it was the super moon of the year.
Yeah.
So I did about 40 minutes of yoga. It was mostly like stretching and stuff like that. I'm not a yoga instructor per se, but it was really good. Everyone liked it. And then we went into doing she did some talking, burned some different incense, and then we kind of just chilled under the moon. Maybe had some s'mores and stuff like that. It was a really good time. Had a lot of people. Might have a few new members of my personal training, and pretty happy for that.
Awesome. Maybe that's why I was so tired. I was out werewolfing all night and
Yeah, ate a few people.
yeah.
Yeah, that takes it out of you. You're full. You're just tired. I get you.
Well, so let's talk about the newest Costco bundle, and we're actually going to talk about the March of the Machines because I've got some news to break on that to you. First, I have right here the latest Costco bundle is the Lord of the Rings set, and you get
All right.
full commander deck, 4 promo cards, and then 2 set boosters from Lord of the Rings. So that is the latest Costco bundle. I think this one was $55. So I bought this one because I tore this deck apart for. I think I said on a previous episode that I tore this deck apart for my my now wife's commander deck. So I bought it to kind of just have all the precons put together, ready to rock. So
That's fun. So now you just have one to put in your bunker till a day in the future.
yeah. So
So we can go, hey, remember when this happened? You could get these at Costco for nothing.
yeah. So
Did they have the Merry and Pippin deck?
they had all the decks.
Oh,
I literally dug like 3 layers down on the palette just to find this one. So I ran across all 4 decks. They had them all. So they had the Sauron one. They had all of them. So
awesome.
yeah, I did have to dig for that one. But they did have the March of the Machine decks there, or the bundles still, and they were $24.97.
Big money. Nesting
Well,
Dove Hawk deck. It's time to get you.
even bigger news. So I had one of my followers on Instagram message me yesterday, and he said, "Hey, I saw your video on the Costco bundles, and I just want to let you know that I was at the same Costco you were at today, and the one here in Kansas City, and the decks were 1997. The bundles were 1997.
Oh, wow. So they're
Yeah,
even lower.
yeah. And I was on Reddit, and somebody posted on Reddit that the bundles he had a picture of the Lord of the Rings bundles, and then next to it the 1997 March of the Machine bundles. So, I
Oh,
mean,
so it's time to get out there.
you
This is
can't
the time.
you can't go wrong with that, right?
No, a commander deck for $20, and then one has Nesting Dove Hawk, which I think is $20. One
Yeah,
has
that's probably all
the
gone. That's probably all gone by now.
but even the white black one has Bitterthorn in it, and that's like $12. So
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
already like
and then you get a Commander Masters set booster,
yeah.
A Bloomburrow set booster, and March of the Machine set booster, and then the
Oh
2
wow.
promos. So I mean, the Commander Masters set booster is like what? That's $12 right there, right? 10 or 12
Yeah.
bucks for that booster. So I mean, that's half your price in just one pack plus a full Commander deck. I don't see how you can go wrong on those. So
No, I'm gonna have to go pick some up myself. Just
yeah,
get in a whole year's commander deck or a whole set's commander decks for $80. That's a
right?
good deal.
Yeah, plus
Yeah.
all the extras. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, have a whole new play experience just for that, and get some boosters on top of it.
right,
So
yeah.
okay.
So
All right. I'm
I
hyped.
mean, I don't know if these Lord of the Rings sets are gonna end up like that, but I went ahead and bought this one just because I wanted to make sure I got it, and I think $55 is a pretty good price for everything you get in there. So
And those are real lottery tickets because you get one ring and boom.
right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So hype for that. If those ever go on sale. Oof.
Especially so, don't the collector or the commander decks come with a collector booster sample pack that has 2?
Yeah, I believe they do.
Do they
2
do that?
cards.
I wonder if they do that in the Lord of the Rings. I don't remember.
It would be on
It
the
doesn't.
package
Yeah,
somewhere.
it doesn't say on the front.
But as for
So
commander decks, I played against a lot of the Merry and Pippin deck. Has very strong, just
yeah,
out of the box. Just Farmer Cotton. Here's a bunch of foods, overrun, you're all dead. And we're just sitting here like, I had to kill these guys like 3 or 4 times before you can even like start the game most games. So
Yeah.
for just gameplay purposes, I played against that one a lot when Lord of the Rings was hot, and big recommends for that deck. It was a very good Abzan deck. So
Yeah, that's this one here.
yeah,
But it has Frodo on the front.
it has
But
Frodo though.
yeah,
Well, maybe Merriam Pippin or
he's,
backup commander.
yeah, he's the backup commander for this deck. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah. So can't recommend getting that one enough. It's very solid.
Yeah.
Also, you bust your one ring, you're good. That's $100 right back in the coffers. So
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna open that up and pull the Lord of the Rings boosters out. I'm putting together putting together an advent calendar for myself. So I'll take those Lord of the Rings boosters, throw them in that advent calendar, and yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
A
So
booster pack a day. They have those for Pokemon actually.
I know they're already pre-made and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. They did it for Magic one year. Remember when they had like the alternate Archivin Dragon
It was
and Elspeth?
it was the Secret Lair 30th anniversary set that immediately sold out. They released it.
Yeah.
They released it during MagicCon Vegas. I was sitting in my hotel room in bed trying to buy that set, and the website just like crashed. And it was a Marvel Secret Lair thing, like before Marvel Secret Lair was a thing. So yeah, there was a whole disaster. I didn't end up getting one. I think you can get them. I want to say they're like 120, 130 bucks then, and right now they're only like 150. So
Not bad. So you
Yeah,
can pick them up.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of the individual singles were like completely important. I think the bonus card, there was like a bonus Chrome Mox or something that was kind of expensive.
Chrome Mox was one of the cards in the set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It had one of the reasons people liked it is it had a 30-sided die in it too, for the 30th anniversary. So
That's unique for Magic Die.
yeah,
30 side.
yeah,
Yeah, and so you get that. Chrome Mox, I think, was the only card I can remember that was like of note. I think there was a special bonus card too, but
I don't remember.
regardless, it had a lot of
yeah.
unique arts and a lot of fun stuff, a lot of really cool variants. So, I mean, definitely a worthwhile purchase if you can get a hold of it now. It's only, you said 120 now? So it's good value.
150.
150.
Yeah, 150 is what I see people say.
Not all products age well. So cool. So cool. I'm hyped for buying some more Costco decks.
Yeah, so head out to your Costco's and check those out just in time for Christmas. So
That's right. That's a good win. That's a good. I mean, I don't think I've ever paid less than $100 for 4 decks for when I used to buy every collection. So that's awesome. And I get free packs.
If you're wanting to buy something for one of your friends or whatever that plays Magic, like $20 for that, like you cannot go wrong giving that as a gift. I mean,
Yeah, talk about a
especially-
gateway price. You know?
yeah, for sure. So yeah, head out to your Costco's, check that out, and let's talk about some Winston Draft though.
Yeah. So I don't know how much Winston Draft you have played, Josh, but I think I used to
played
play it every
very,
Sunday
very
for
little.
like 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty well versed in Winston Draft.
I watched you guys play a few times in the shop, but I maybe have done 2 in my entire life. So
All right.
let's
So
fill
I'll
everybody in on what it is. And
Yeah, so Winston Draft is you take 6 boosters, and each person pitches in 6 boosters. You shuffle all the cards together into one big stack, and then you make 3 piles. And on each one of your turns, or you roll to see who goes first, and then you have 3 piles of Magic cards in front of you. And the first player will grab the first stack closest to the pile and look at it. And they'll go, do I want Windrake? Yes or no? Let's say they didn't want Windrake. They put the Windrake back in the pile. They put another card from the big stack on top of that pile and go to the next card. It happens to be another Windrake. It would normally wouldn't be like that, but you keep going, and then you go to the next pile, and you're like, do I want an Angrath, Captain of Chaos for my deck? Maybe. But you can take it or you leave it. Let's say you don't. And then if you get to the end and you haven't taken any cards, you draw a card off the deck, and then that's your card to keep to start the draft.
so
and then
some people are gonna know what the top card of the pile is, right, before they pick. And
yeah, so any cards that have been passed up will be known to the player who passed them.
okay,
So for instance, if I'm the next player and I go to the pack that has 2 cards, and I will only know about these 2, and if I take that pile, put a card back, the player who went all the way down the line knows about 2 other cached cards in those other piles. So they might be saving one for later, or they may get a card that's like, this is Kiki Jiki, and I know Pester Mite is two packs down, so they could go get it next. The one funny thing about Winston Draft is certain expansions, usually you'll end up in about 3 colors, or at least 2 in a splash. Sometimes we wrote 2 colors, but it can get a little weird when piles get big, depending on the type of set you're getting. If piles get big, sometimes it's a scramble for cards, and very low power cards end up dictating games.
so you get to pick which pile you put the card on, or does it go on the back on top of the pile?
Immediately on the previous pile,
Okay.
yeah. So it's always add 1 to whichever stack you didn't pick.
Gotcha.
So you can get a huge stack of 10 cards if everyone's
Yeah.
just like crap.
Yeah.
Usually that's not a good strategy. Usually you want to kind of keep your card economy up while you're also doing that, so you keep your options open. If you get a little too specific, and then it's not like regular draft when you're like, I keep getting packs with no white cards,
Mhm.
but you could always keep seeing a white card. like off the top or off your random
Right.
that you pick. So sometimes they'll get in your color and you'll be cut off and you won't know it because they picked up a pile with 5 white cards, or they've been taking every white card they've seen, etc.
So then you go through all 8 people like that, and then the 8th person, they get to go
No,
again,
no. So this
right?
is a two-player. This is a two-player
Oh, it's
game.
2. Okay.
This is how it is for 2 player. You can actually add more players. I don't think we've ever added more than 1 additional player. I think you get up to 4. And for each player you add 3 more packs and you add a pile. So it goes from 3 stacks to 4
Right.
stacks in the big pile.
Okay, I thought
And
I'd done this
so,
before, but I must be thinking of an entirely different format then.
oh, okay. But this is Winston Draft. This is a quick 6-pack experience of limited. It's similar to sealed deck.
Okay.
Just you get a little bit more control. But it's pretty awesome. It's pretty fun. You got to play with a lot of weird cards you wouldn't play because you're kind of forced into colors a little bit, and big beaters, big bruiser creatures that might even be cut it for draft will get into your games and be big runners for the very battle cruisery.
So which sets did you Winston draft a lot of? Probably what Shards of Alara?
Not so much because I think that's when I started drafting. I think I did a lot of Cons of Tarkir.
Okay.
Sticks big in my memory. Ravnica. The second Return to Ravnica.
Yeah.
Return to Ravnica. Ton of Return to Ravnica. I think we did a little Theros. I loved Theros' limited. Played a lot of Theros. Sets like that. But yeah, it's a great experience. You can still do it with modern cards today, and honestly, with the power level that things are at now, they're probably a bit more charged up. You get uncommons that are 6 or 7 mana, 6/7s with can't be blocked by power 2 or less, and toxic 3 or something. So games are gonna be a lot more splashy, and you'll get better removal. So you can really have a more juiced game than like, here's my 5 mana 4/3 that has some random ability.
So I remember in the store there being like lots of people playing, doing Winston Draft. Is it just you pair up and then you have like a full like tournament, or how does that work?
I've never played it as a tournament. We usually just
just kind of for fun.
current games. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the best kind of in the middle. Like, I want a limited experience. I don't want to sit down for 4 hours for draft.
Right.
I don't want to do a sealed deck because it doesn't seem like have any autonomy. And I guess I left out one of the important parts of Winston is the winner. We take all the rares at the end and we draft the rares one at a time.
Okay.
So you're battling for the best card in the pool. And we did it in Kaladesh quite a bit too. And I remember us opening masterpieces a couple of times. Use and win the Verdurous Gearhold masterpiece.
So after you're done playing, everybody pulls out their rares and puts them in a big pool, and okay.
Then first pick, second pick, so on. But it's just back and forth. So you're usually always getting something. It's not that bad, but yeah, as it's gone in time, like you would get a hot commodity or maybe a $10 card.
So there's no rare drafting or any of that either, because it's all going.
It's all going back on the table. So you really got to win. So it really pressures you into doing your best with, how to kill your opponent with a butter knife, so to say. You're like, well, and I've had many Winston draft where you're like going along and you're like, man, I can't make this 2-drop make sense. That my best card just isn't working because I'm not seeing any other cards. So you're like, I guess I got to get a pile of like big idiots or just like one plan to get like a couple flyers down and just win a game off of like a weird enchantment. I remember in Return to Ravnica where I think Grixis color combo was pretty popular because there was Rakdos and Izzet in the same set.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of aggressive red creatures, and there was an aura that wasn't that great in regular draft, but I did play it in regular draft too. It's like enchanted creature gets for 1 in red +2/+2, and if you pay a blue, the enchanted creature gains flying. So it's kind of a little high risk, but you play it on a 3/2 that can't block, and then you're just like 5, 5, 5, and then they're just kind of dead. So, but funny gimmicky strategies, silly things, cards that you wouldn't normally feel as high picks are like running the game because like I can find a land. So you're really, really excited to get like Vine Gate Creeper, who's like a 2-drop that searches your deck for a land or a gate and puts it in your hand, and you're like, oh, that card's gold. Like I'm gonna be able to play my weird rare I got as a random draw off the top because I have, a couple of those and so on. So
each player brings 3 packs to the table. And so that just like a regular draft, and then it's just the way you pick your cards is different. So so everybody opens their packs and then smashes all the cards together into
and you're not supposed to look. You open them face down, put them in the pile, and if the basic lands or something get in there, you just flip them to the side and you put another card.
So this isn't something you could really do with double face cards, right? Or
yeah, so we had that, and I remember in Innistrad having to do that. So it kind of messed stuff up because if you ever got a double face rare, you're like, oh, well, we know that's in the pile. And so what you'd have to do with that is because they always gave you those sheet cards, you'd have to take those, fill the sheet on, put that card into the stack.
Actually have to use the checklist cards.
Yeah, we did that all the time. Okay. It was highly useful.
But you knew you knew what a possibility was in the pool. Then.
You knew 6 cards in the pool. Yeah. Which for Innistrad, it didn't really matter too much because they were all kind of like whatever werewolves. So but every once in a while it'd be like Bloodline Keeper, which is just a
Hmm.
straight bomb. So you're like, if I get the Bloodline Keeper, you're getting wrecked, you know. So it's all kind of luck
Yeah.
there. So we used to play a game that was similar to it too. It was Pack Wars, if you ever played those, but those are like a way more random. Then you're betting a pack basically because
Yeah,
you're
they
doing the same
have
thing.
like if you look in some of the packs nowadays, they have basically the like how to do these different like pack wars type um, formats where they tell you open a booster pack and then you shuffle them and then you flip over the top one and whoever has the biggest CMC. Basically, it's like have you ever played
Oh,
Top Trumps?
yeah, I can't. No, I have not. So that's a regular card game.
So it's no, you play with a specialized deck. It's not like decks of cards. The ones I've played are Simpsons,
Oh, okay.
and so it has like the character on there, and then it has stats like height, weight, all kinds of different stats. And so what you do is you each pick up the top card of your deck, and you pick one of those stats, and then you play them, and whoever has the highest of that stat that was picked wins both cards. So it's
Oh,
kind
I
of
see.
it's kind of like war where you get to keep whoever ends up with all the cards wins, but it's not by each character having different like sets of stats and you getting to pick. Then it's not just like Homer beats Marge every time. It depends on what stat that person picks.
Like
So
Homer beats Marge on weight, but he
right,
loses to Marge in intelligence or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like you could do that with magic cards too. You could like say, just open your pack and then pick a stat like convert a mana cost would be the most popular one. But you could also do
Collector number.
like collector number, yeah, all that. Yeah, it's hard to do with like power toughness because not all the cards are creatures. Um, but yeah, you can do those types of things, and they have the little cards that come in the packs that
Huh.
tell you these little weird formats that they kind of made up. But yeah, the pack wars type formats are kind of fun to do while you're in between rounds or whatever. So
At some of the local shops, I don't know if it still goes on to this day, but everyone would buy a pack, and then you'd tally up the mana cost of all the cards in the pack, and whoever won got
yeah,
all the packs.
yeah,
And I remember doing that once or twice. 'Cause I'm very opposed to gambling, but aside from opening boosters, I suppose. But
right.
uh, every once in a while. But the I was playing it, and somebody kind of like bought a pack after we'd all kind of tallied it up and added in one, and I was like, "What? Like I already won." I was very salty about
Oh
that.
yeah, I would be too.
Yeah, I was like, "You can't just like get in after you see like, oh, that was kind of
Yeah,
low. You won with
right.
like
Yeah,
anyway." But I was very salty. I was like, "Ah." That was back when Drana, the 3 mana 2/3 flying first strike
yeah.
mythic was like $20.
From
With that card being like $1 now
that
from
was
Battle
what
for Zendikar.
Battle for Zendikar. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I just remember being like, "Ooh, that was a good time." That
So
that
that
time period was pretty cool.
uh, the Battle for Zendikar have the Eldrazi Titans in it. So
Yes,
you
it
could yeah,
had.
so you could have like a pretty big pretty big swing if you pulled a Titan.
Yeah, you could just rip a. I think, or yeah, I think
Yeah, it
you could
was
rip Ulamog. I think
yeah
in the first set.
the 10 mana one.
Ceaseless Hunger. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just rip Ceaseless Hunger and be like, I opened the best card and I'm keeping all of your cards. But yeah, it was risky.
Yeah.
It was risky by all means. I mean, it was a fun time. Yeah, people still do that, I'm sure. But yeah, it's not like Winston. Winston was just always so great. It was just a way to play 1v1 Magic that was different every time.
Yeah.
And you could always like really get engrossed in the new set. You're like, all the cards, you get intimate with the mechanics. You could play like all the different archetypes within like 2 or 3 Winstons probably, and then the little bit of, like it's like the original Magic where you play for like ante, like just but you're playing
Yeah.
for the high card and it's not so random. Um, but it never felt bad. Your price buy-in used to be $10 now. I guess it's probably like 10 or 15. But like you
Yeah.
spend like 2 or 3 hours doing it, because you got to draft your deck, you build your deck, you play your game, and we would play 3 out of 5 sometimes instead of 2 out of 3.
Oh, okay.
So but definitely a great way if you haven't played it. If you have one person and you want to just do some limited in person and you just have some boosters, or a fun way to crack a box. You're opening your box anyway. You might as well just like make some quick games, and then if you want to build other decks after that, fine. But then you can just like boom, you have an experience with every like cool mythic in the set, every
Yeah.
cool rare.
That's
And
I mean, like I said, that's exactly what I do here when we um, open packs. We play with all the cards. So yeah, that seems like a really fun idea to do here. When we go, I got a box of foundations, and I haven't opened it yet. I'm waiting because do you know what a Commander Boxing League is?
it's where everyone like opens a box and then adds to the box,
So
or is they just keep one box and keep drafting or playing with it?
So you open a box and you build a commander deck out of all the cards that you get from that box, and then everybody plays each other with their boxing league decks. And so I'm looking at doing one of those, maybe with some people online. So I'm saving this foundations box for now to see if that pans out. If not, then we might try some Winston draft with it here at the house, or maybe some mystery booster That might be kind of fun too.
Oh wow, that'd
Mystery
be
Booster.
wild.
Yeah.
Getting wrecked by the good old starting town NPC. Yeah, I can see that being great.
Yeah.
That just limited is just so kind of unbeatable for me for like experiencing Magic. Like you're not gonna have like there's so many cool build around cards that I see all the time. And like I really want to do that. But I play Commander primarily, and it's like I'm not gonna sit down and make a 100 card deck that's like trying to play that card unless I
Right.
play a bunch
Yeah.
of tutors, and then like somebody accidentally exiles it, my whole
Yeah.
2 hours is ruined.
I
So
bought
not ruined, but like
I bought a the Outlaws of Thunder Junction deck. Was it Obika? I think
oh yeah,
it's the Mardu
yeah,
one.
take extra upkeeps.
Yeah. Actually, I bought the Mardu one, but I was going to
Okay.
build it around Obika with Outlaws and stuff.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and it's like I bought that for my birthday like 6 months ago, and it's
Oh,
just like I haven't even opened
that's
it yet.
Olivia. That's the Olivia deck.
It is, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But like there's the outlaw that like steals your opponent, or they exile a card, and you get to keep it, and it becomes outlaw at your upkeep. And so if you get extra upkeeps, you can just like do that a bunch of times. And
Oh, I
so
gotcha.
yeah, so like I
Yeah.
bought that deck around when Outlaws came out, and I wanted to do some fun stuff, and like I haven't even opened the deck yet, just because it's like
It's an endeavor.
yeah, I just want to like, am I really going to build a deck, just to because I want to build around this one card, and maybe the deck's even just going to totally suck. So
Yeah, yeah. I get you. You're like the investment to like fund ratio is just
yeah,
off a lot of the time,
yeah. So that's
Because
why,
I build decks and I'm like that, and when I do it, I'm like, oh, I wasted so much investment. This deck doesn't work, or it's not as fun as I expected.
yeah.
You know.
So I'm really into like sealed formats right now, even for Commander. Like I said with the Boxing League, just opening cards and playing with them, and then putting them on my shelf. I do want to get into Standard though, because like Foundations, I've been playing a lot of Foundations on Arena. Like over the weekend, I probably did, I don't know, 10 or 12 sealed events on Arena for Foundations. Like I just kept getting like 5, 6, 7 wins. So, it was
Nice.
basically free. So yeah, it's a fun format. Like I did a draft, and like I think I got 2 wins. I just had a really crappy draft deck, but my seal pools have been really good. So like I mean I've found a bunch of cards in that set that like are really good, that you aren't the like mythics and stuff. And there was a card that I've been reading wrong that I got played against me, that I figured out that it was a really good card, and I've been skipping
Yeah.
over it because I misread it. So
Oh, the wonders of limited.
yeah,
I've had several times where I'm like doing a thing, and then somebody's like, "Hey, that's not quite how that works." And I'm
right,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I'm glad I built my whole deck around that.
yeah. Like, oops, I guess this is not the game for me. Usually it's
Yeah.
missing a cost or something for me, or like a line of text. You're just like a little off. Like I remember I had a game way back in Theros where everyone was giving me shit because I did the enchant creature thing. What's that called? Bestow. I bestowed a card for less than what its mana value was. I didn't realize it till later on when I was watching somebody else play, and I was like, wait, that thing costs 5 to bestow? Like, oop. Oop.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, Nick, can't you read? I'm like, apparently not. So, but yeah, limited's fun, and it's all new stuff. People mess up. I had one of my favorite limited experience just to share. We were playing Amonkhet, and we were playing the pre-release, and one of my opponents had 3 Glorybringers in their deck. 3. He had that. And I had a card that's from Amonkhet block that says it's like 2 white and 2, and it's an enchantment, and it says your things can't be damaged by the card name. You can't be damaged, and they can't cast it. So I had like the perfect card. Game 2, I start. It's in my hand. I have 3 lands, and I whiff on land drops as he plays 2 Glorybringers on me, and I die. I'm like, no! Like, I'm the one. It was the finals of the pre-release. Like, I am the one. I'm going to defeat you. And I just show him the card at the end. I'm like, it should have been me. That was unbelievable. And then I think the next set, I got back. I had both gods, like Scarab and Scorpion, in my deck. So then I got to feel like the bad boy.
Yeah.
I was like, here's the Scorpion god. They're like, oh yeah, exile, get it out of here. I'm like, cool. Here's the
All right.
Scarab god. Oh no. So, but anyway, just on a little memory lane there. But yeah,
That's funny.
that's why limited's great though. It feels like you can have ultimate power, but you're just playing like a rare, and you can still lose, but it feels like so much more impactful.
And you can just
And then
you can just make up your own like ways to play too. Like even like I was saying, the things that come in the packs that tell you how to
Yeah.
play. Instead of just cracking packs, play with the cards. So, and I know
Yeah.
like Winston Draft isn't like I guess I thought I'd played it before, but I guess I just watched you guys do it at the store, because I thought it was where you everybody picks a card, and then they go through and then the last person picks it, like snakes back and forth.
Oh, so I know what that
drafting,
is.
So
So I have not actually had the pleasure of playing this, or maybe I did once. So that's called Rochester Draft.
Rochester Draft. Okay, yeah.
And they haven't done that. I haven't seen anyone do that in a long time. But yeah, you would have like the entire set of Lorwyn, for instance. I think that was the first time I ever encountered it.
Yeah.
And people would get like, I think 8 people would come up to the front, and you'd be like, first pick gets to pick a card.
Mm-hmm.
So like I remember Garrick Wildspeaker was like one of the ones who were like, oh, I got to get that.
Yeah.
You draft like Garrick, and then the next guy would go, but it would get really meta because, okay, I
could-
see you drafting
can
this
see
deck,
yeah.
so I'm going to get in your color and take your best card.
Yeah.
And then it's like your best next card. So then it's like, oh, now we're just going to argue, and then my curve's going to get messed up.
Yeah.
And then I think sure the winner ends up being the person who's the least interfered with. Like, no one cares about the goblins and Lorwyn, so
Yeah.
oh, I have the nuttiest goblin deck ever now. So I never had the experience to play Rochester Draft. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it. It's just logistically a little weird. You need one of each card in the set, which isn't
Right.
like hard to do.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. But yeah. If we wanted to Rochester Draft any old expansion now, if we want to get into that, I would love to do that with so many sets.
yeah, that'd be fun.
Just starting off with your pet card and then trying to build a deck from there is really cool. It leans a little bit spiky because, somebody's going to be like, I know the best rare in this set, the best uncommon, the best common,
Yeah.
But still, you'll have a good time. Like, if you get everyone the right spirit, like pick your favorite rare to start, like your favorite, like goofy garbage rare. Like, if I were trying to be flavory, we go to Shards of Alara and I'm just like, give me, who would I pick first, actually? I probably want Rubemaid Dragon or something like that, actually. So maybe that's not a good example. Sweetest card, like Karthus or something, Be like, I'm going to be the Dragon Dad at the table.
Yeah.
Even though the best card is probably like Noble Hierarch or something. So.
I don't. That's a good card, but that's a 4 of card, isn't it?
I think just the games, so being able to attack and getting mana on turn 1 and limited, I think that card, I would pick that card first as like most powerful card in Shards of Alara block. It's in Conflux, so I don't know if you'd even do Conflux, so maybe that's not a good example. But in Conflux, I'm confident it's the best card. That's not that good.
That might be true.
But yeah, that's that. I mean, what?
I think that would be cool just to go back and, like you said, do cons when it, or what if you did the Rochester Draft of the cons remastered set? Because that has like all the cons blocks like kind of mushed into one.
Yeah, and it's designed to be together, so
Yeah,
I can see that being better.
So
Really curated experience.
Yeah. So if you ever
I know I'd be picking up Dragon Lord Kolagon like that.
Isn't Atarka better though?
If you're playing aggro, it's not. I'm gonna just smash you for 6 for the finish.
So if you want to do a Rochester Draft, I have complete sets here that we can do sometime. So
I'm in.
That's what I collect is complete sets. You kind of wanted to talk about some collecting goals. What are some of your collecting goals right now? Or are you trying to figure that out?
I'm kind of trying to figure it out. I have like a list of cards I'm trying to upgrade and get better versions of. That's kind of my main thing is I'm all about the skins. But I have a file that I keep on Architect that has every card I'm trying to pick up. Been waiting for when they're kind of at their cheaper points. And then some I'm just like, well, one day maybe I will have this card in the perfect world. Like the Scarab God Invocation. And stuff like that. But that's my goal. So right now I'm trying to kind of convert into maybe trading for more of these cards, picking them up when they're low, and making sure I actually have pivoted my focus a bit to when like I have the card in a deck, like active deck, I want to push towards getting them. But that are kind of my collecting goals. I used to have a goal of having basically every set like you did actually, but I started probably around 2010. And now I think I've changed my goals to being more like playing in the parts of Magic that I love the most, which is probably around 2015 to like 2000-ish era. So somewhere probably like, I think Invasion block to Khans of Tarkir is kind of the Magic that I view as my big experience with Magic before things changed quite a bit.
Yeah. Invasion's way back there. That's like 2000?
2002, 2000?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. But that's my big brick. Those are the cards I remember seeing a lot. I didn't start playing till Scourge, so I missed a lot of that, but those cards were around my shop. People were playing them.
Yeah.
All those images. I remember one of the first Magic images I ever saw was Mind Slicer. It was like on a poster. I thought it was like a Leviathan or something. I was like, this is so sick looking. And then, that was just kind of one of the first experiences in that art style. I love the years between what was Onslaught and Invasion block art style is like got to be one of my tops. So every time they do retro style, I'm like looking for stuff that looks like that. Less so stuff that looks like Ice Age block. Nothing against Ice Age block, but that art style just doesn't hit the same for me.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, those look sweet too. So, but yeah, those are my collecting goals. Is really picking up that. I really love getting cycles of cards. Like every time we come to a set and they're like, here's a cycle of legends, or here's a cycle. Like I don't have any of the overlords
Oh yeah,
But I want to get them. They're all sweet. Like I'll definitely play with them.
yeah.
I like having the cycles of sets. I'm a big fan of Phyrexian, the Phyrexian symbol
Oh
cards.
okay, yeah.
I love those. I need to get a Tyrannex Rex with the Phyrexian symbols, uh, stuff like that. So those are kind of my goals. Oh, and I love etched, the good
Etched
etched, not
foil.
the etched foils. I like
Mm,
those. So, and then certain old cards that I'm like, this is my favorite art. Like, I prefer the Ice Age Wild Growth, but I don't have any, and none of my local shops have them. So they're on the list. When I'm getting an Ice Age Wild Growth, I have no idea, but they're on the list. A lot of
yeah.
these cards are just hard to find.
I'll look through my stuff and see if I might have one for you.
But yeah, that's kind of my collecting goals. To be honest with you, I don't have a great process of getting them. Every once in a while, I am trading, and now I have this file. So when I'm trading with somebody, I'll be like, okay, do they have one of the cards that I'm looking for?
Right. Yeah.
And it's not that common, but when it is, it's nice because then it's like, oh, I don't have to think of what card I need from this guy. It's like they got it.
Do you have?
So
Do you have? So I know you have. You said you have like boxes of cards. Do you know what cards you have?
for the most part, I probably have about 5,000 count boxes on my floor. I'm not in a floodplain, so don't worry about it. Uh,
Well, pipes do break.
oh, gosh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, give me PTSD now. Now I need to move everything.
Yeah,
Um,
get those off the floor.
okay, so anyway, there's also that. So yeah, I have a rough idea what I have. I think most of my collection is in that time range I kind of spoke about. I actually probably have cards up until like heavy amounts of cards up until like maybe Shadows of Innistrad.
Okay.
Basically, pre-pandemic is kind of where my collection got kind of whiffed up, and I think around then I was buying singles online of sets because you spend $100 and get like every card out of a
Right.
set
Yeah.
for a while during the pandemic. I think like what were those? Ikoria, I love that set, and Kaldheim, but I just bought all
Uh-huh.
the singles online for like $100 each.
Yeah.
It was like, sweet.
I think that's what I'm gonna end up having to do because, like Korea was really the last set that I bought product for, so I'm really missing. Kaldheim, Zendikar, was it Return to Zendikar, Zendikar Rising, um,
Yeah.
the Innistrad sets, the Neon Dynasty, but I played all those on Arena, so like I have like all the cards for those on Arena, but I don't have the physical cards. So
I think the worst part about the pandemic is it messed up what I thought was in my collection or playing online in general because I'm just like I have this card, and my brain is like I have it. I've
uh-huh.
played with it several times, and then it's like no,
Yeah,
wait, that's from that era. Crap, I don't have that
yeah.
card. So then it has to get put on the list. My list also has a bunch of cards that are regrets. Like I didn't buy the Dungeons and Dragons movie Secret Lair,
Oh yeah.
and Themberchat is on my list, who is the same price of the Secret Lair when I
Yeah.
could have bought it.
Yeah,
Sadness.
I didn't get that one either, unfortunately.
Yeah, so things like that, anime arts. Whenever they do a better art of one of my favorite cards, I missed out on the boat, but I think I'm about to get back on the boat. Oh, it's only $11 now, or it's only $13 now. Balefire Dragon, etched foil. Balefire Dragon, one of my favorite cards of all time. Just love beating people in the face with that and blowing up all their dudes in one go.
So you're
It's
not
stupid.
really focused on collecting cards themselves. You're focused on upgrading the cards that you have mostly.
No, some of these I just want to
Oh,
have.
okay. So
So
there's
some of
cards that
them
you
are
don't
actually
have that.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah, some of these cards are cards I'm not planning on playing, but I would like to have a copy of, like etched foil, Thistledown Liege, some cards from that era that have like new printings that I'm like, ooh, that's
Gotcha.
really
Yeah.
cool. I'd like to have. They're mostly cards like I might play with, but for the most part are just like it's really cool. Like there's a or like very rare that I like the art of. Like I love Urabrask and the Heretic Praetor version.
Hmm.
Phyrexian foil is like an $8 card, and I don't have random cash. I would just buy this card, but it is super rare. Like it is very unique. Like there aren't very many copies, but it's only like $8. Because it's just as rare as the double the counters Vorinclex that everyone likes.
Oh
But
yeah.
that
Yeah.
one's like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
But this one's like $8. And I know the card's not amazing, but it's not awful. And so cards like that.
You're talking
And my
about the ones that have the Phyrexian
Phyrexian
symbols
foil.
like foil. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the prototype art
Yeah.
Phyrexian foil. So
Because
it's like
it's like a white background with the
yeah.
yeah.
It's like a one. I think they're like one per case or less or something
Hmm.
crazy rare. These ones. So, but that card is just super cheap. I like the card. I like the art. So, but that's kind of my goal in collecting. It's less that. I mean, for sets that I like in the eras that I like, I have many of the cards because I play Winston Draft. I played that. So there's holes, but they're fillable. Like I'm sure many of the sets I could fix by like spending 30 or $40, and I need to
Right.
convert
Yeah.
my collection into that website that you have that has all of the
Hmm.
check boxes so I can get the completion list. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So you said you have a bunch of boxes. Are the cards organized that are in those boxes? Are they like organized by set or color?
Yeah, many of them are sorted. They're all sorted into color.
Okay.
And then some of them are completely sorted by alphabet,
Mhm.
and then some of them still need to be alphabetized.
Yeah.
and some of them I have separated into cards that I play with and cards that I don't.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to start migrating ones that I do play with into a box of their own, so I can just look through that box instead of all the different
Right.
boxes.
Yeah.
But I'm so ambitious that I'm like, I'm going to play with all these cards, and I will never touch probably 2/3 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my goals with collecting. Uh, Actually, my biggest goal with collecting is getting organized, so I can have everything filed away, and how to
That's
put them away. Like you said, not on the floor.
like hands
Like,
down. That is probably like the key to collecting is just having everything organized because, like, if you don't have your collection organized, you just waste so much time looking for cards. You have piles of cards everywhere. Like it's just it becomes a burden. Whereas if everything's organized and you can readily get to stuff like within a matter of seconds, like it just takes. It's just so it's like not stressful at all having a collection. Like if you have everything scattered around, it's just so stressful. Like oh my god, I think I have this card. Do I have this card? You know, and like it is a like process of getting everything completely organized. But once you do it, and if you can maintain that, like it's game changing, honestly.
yeah, you're speaking right to me. I'm like, oh, it feels just like that. It's like, I want to build a deck. Is it in the stack of white cards on my table, or is it in box on the floor? Is it in the overflow box? Did I
Yeah,
buy it in my collect? Is it in my thing I take with me to go play? Have I added it to my trade binder?
yeah,
Where is it? I have no idea. Well, not no idea, but I'll definitely have days where it's like, oh, I guess I don't have this card.
yeah.
Then I realize later, oh, I put that in a,
Hmm.
and getting over that hump. I think that's always been the thing for me. I had some time when I was unemployed where I really took a big swack at it, but then after that, it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
don't want to do that anymore. I've spent hundreds of hours now. I don't want to do it anymore.
I'm sitting here. I've got three boxes, three like 800 count boxes that I've got from cards that I brought back from MagicCon. They're just filled with everything that we opened at MagicCon. It just filled up in these three boxes, and I've got a box of Duskmorn here that we had just played with, and now Foundations is here, and so I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed simply just because of MagicCon, but I'm gonna have to sit down and take an afternoon and sort all this stuff, but like
Yeah, so that doesn't sound stressful to me. Like that seems like something I can bite onto in an afternoon. Mine, it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
like a month. I did the math because of how long it took me to do the other ones. I'm like, it'll take me 3 more months at least.
yeah,
So
yeah. But I mean, at the end of those 3 months, that you're gonna
then I'm
have
in paradise, right?
right.
That's what I
Yeah,
need to be thinking of.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was 3 months when I had a lot of time. Now it's like I'm more
True.
like 9 months of putting an hour in every day.
Yeah, yeah,
But it is worth. I see why it's worth it. Like I love what I see on your desk. Like this is why I don't have my cam on because I look at what you got there. It's like, oh, it's ornate. It's organized. It's
yeah.
things. Mine is derp, derpy white box that says black on it. Derpy white box that says basics. Derpy white box that says tokens. Derpy white box that says Shard Zendikar because one of those boxes just has all those cards in it. It's like
Yeah,
so. So yeah, I need to get on that same train with you and just bite the bullet and I don't know, just chopping that down. I just need to like how when you went through a big watershed of like a little disorganized to like fully organized, right?
so I've always had the cards um, organized by set. I'd have these fat pack boxes, with the set, everything coordinating. I've always had the binders with the sets that I've been trying to complete. I've always had that, but I've always had the like the shit pile in the corner that was cards that were index or cards that I drafted and I just threw in the box. So I had random boxes around, but for the most part, I would say I was probably like 80% organized when I started,
Okay.
and like I started at the beginning of this year, getting all this put together, getting printing all these labels for the boxes, so I didn't have the white box with Icordia written on it. I had some cool looking art for it. So I
Can you pull
started.
one of those boxes off the shelf?
Sure.
I'd like to
Yeah.
see what it looks like actually.
So it's just the white,
Oh,
but like you can see here,
it looks cool.
I made the labels, and
Oh.
they're not all the same. I've got the different art for a lot of them. So
On your webcam, I would have guessed they were all little deck boxes, like little
oh
custom
yeah,
deck boxes
yeah.
from how far away.
Probably my favorite ones are these for like Fallen Empires and Arabian Nights. I
Oh,
kind of
that's
use
cool.
I use the art from the booster packs on those, but
Oh,
yeah. So it took me. I mean, it took me a good probably month. I set up a card table in the living room so I could sort and watch TV at the same time, and I just sat there for hours just sorting it. I mean, going from beginning of Magic, from well really from like Ice Age, forward, I had a pile for each set, and then once all those were sorted, by set, then I had to, you know, put those in boxes in order, and then I would go through and sort them by color, and then sort them alphabetically, and then marry them into my existing
Binder.
collection. So yeah. So now what I
Okay.
do is I keep like 1,000, like one of these boxes. I keep one of these like on my dresser over here, and anytime I do a draft or a pre-release or whatever, I throw the cards in that, and then once that gets almost full, I will marry those into
I
my
see.
collection. So it's not disorganized for long, but MagicCon really got me behind with these 3 boxes of cards I've got here full, and we've still got a couple decks put together. But a couple of these decks, like our Commanders and Cocktails decks I showed on the last episode, I'm gonna keep those together, and just so because they're fun, just to kind of play against each other. So
Yeah, yeah. So you definitely have a better grasp on that. So I'm going to learn from your example here, hopefully,
yeah. So
and
I
keep that
mean,
up.
we're talking about goals. That's the first thing you should do is decide like, hey, how do I want to utilize my collection? Like I can find cards super fast here, and I can put them back super fast. It's just a matter of doing it. And so a lot of people don't collect that way because they say it's inefficient. And a lot of people don't just collect sets; they just collect cards to build decks with. And so the way I collect and organize stuff isn't for everyone. But just having the goal and having a system before you start doing stuff is is probably the most key thing because you don't want to get halfway through and be like, oh man, I really should actually just do this by color or something, and you're already halfway done organizing. So set a goal before you even start organizing and figure out how you actually want to utilize your collection, and then kind of go from there. So like if you want to collect sets for kind of like the sets, that you were saying you had memories with, the older sets, so you want to collect those, and then you want to kind of go and collect, have your stuff organized, so you can utilize it by color and stuff. Because a lot of times when you're building decks, like some cards you don't really care about the printing of, like the version of, but some of them you do care about the version of. It's easier to find if it's sorted by collector or by set. So
Yeah.
instead of just going through all your rampant growths or whatever, you can say, hey, I want the rampant growth from 10th edition or whatever.
So I'm kind of with you on the sorting it by set. So I had that original plan, but then I was like, there's too many sets. And
There is a lot
but
of
then
sets.
now that I have it all sorted by alphabet and color, you have these big bricks of S. S is like
Yeah.
huge. So then I'm just like, if I need an S card, I still lose like 2 minutes to
Hmm.
that. If I was like, I need Spell Pierce, it's like I'm going right to my Zendikar stuff
Yeah.
because I know it's there.
The
You know,
only thing I can say is like you need a pretty substantial collection to collect by set, because otherwise you're kind of you've got 10 different sets in this one little 800 count box, which isn't necessarily bad if it's marked on the outside as to what it is, but I mean it depends on a lot of what you're starting with and what your end goals are. So
okay, okay. What would you say to new collectors?
um like start organized and stay organized is what I would say. So
And what
don't
would you say to old heads like me who are like a giant mess?
get organized. Get organized and then stay organized. Yeah.
Because the reward of being organized is worth it.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's a time saver, but like I was saying earlier, it's like mentally, like it's your collection is just like bearing down on you when there's so many cards just everywhere. So
And as someone who's started doing resales now, when your collection is organized and you know what you have, when you see those random spikes, you don't have to go, where are my Shukos?
yeah, right,
You
yeah,
just grab your Shukos and you put them online
yeah,
immediately.
yeah,
Instead of being like, and then you miss the hype and then it's over.
yeah,
So yeah, so just that is just something I experienced. And it's cool because you can see when it's registered, you can kind of see your collection fluctuate. You can see where something's high or low. And it's a good way to kind of get new cards.
yeah. That's
Um,
that's my next step is putting everything on the computer, and getting it all digitally organized. I haven't done that. I've done a few sets here and there, but I haven't sat down and just gone through and cataloged every single card. Um, that's kind of my next goal is to go through and do that. I might just try to do one set a month or a block a month or something like that, or,
yeah,
or
make
even
that
a
time.
or even a block a week because um, I want to catalog everything. I have like a lot of this people consider bulk. It's commons and uncommons, but and I've got some cards I've got 10 or 15 copies of, and I don't know. I never get rid of cards no matter what they are. So that's just me. You know, you never know when there's a reason that you're gonna. Hey, if I had, you know, 15 copies of Shuko, I mean,
You look like a genius.
right, exactly. I do have. I did count the other day. I have 31 Ristic studies. So
Well,
yeah,
you should get rid of some of those.
I should. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I traded it like I had four. It's one of my least favorite cards. I hate that card. Um, and I had four, and I remember at some point a new set came out, and I just was trading like through them because I was like, I have one left because just in case
Yeah.
I ever need one for a commander deck. But trade all like three of them to some guy, and they were so happy. They were like, oh my god, give me these, and I'm like, give me all this like BS that I need.
Yeah.
And I felt fine doing that. I just hate that card. I hate that card. Mostly just I think it doesn't add to the game, but I don't even get into that. But I could have a whole podcast on Ristic Study. Ooh.
So that's is that our next episode is Ristic Study, friend or
How
foe?
about all the cards I passionately and my passionate opinions of the commander banned list, what it should look like and what it doesn't, because I'm a utopia type guy. Everyone tells me. I was once told they said something. I was told something funny. They said things like I don't remember some meme, and it was saying things that were like not real, and they're like in a balanced metagame, and I was like, they're like that doesn't exist. I'm like, I want it to exist, you know. So.
All right,
Yeah.
maybe next episode.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's go ahead and wrap this one up, though. I think. Yeah. So go to your Costco's, check out the reduced prices, and check out those Lord of the Rings bundles. And I'm gonna try Winston Draft here with my wife. Here, I don't know. I think Mystery Booster sounds kind of fun to do, so we might try that one. But we'll wrap up this episode. Don't forget to like, shower, and subscribe. And me and Nick will see you next time.
Later.